Alright, guys, we need to talk about Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Just woke up today and Nintendo did it. The madmen, they did it. They finally announced Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Now, if you guys know about the intricacies of my channel, the things that I love, the games that I love to play, you would know that the Pikmin series is my favorite childhood gaming series. It's the series I grew up loving. I was enamored with it as a kid. Pikmin was the first GameCube game I owned, and I just love the aesthetic, the design, the uniqueness, the weirdness of the world, its enemy designs, and its concept in general. Just this idea of turning a world that we're all familiar with into something that's unique and alien from this different perspective was just captivating to me as a kid. I love the Pikmin series. Straight up, I just do. Like, there are so many quirky oddities about it, and it's so grim and creepy despite being like a happy-go-lucky looking kids game on its exterior. And if you've seen the video I released titled What is the Best Pikmin, where I discuss and dissect all of the different games and tried to come to a conclusion on which one I thought was my favorite, then you would know that I kind of really liked Pikmin 3 a lot. I have this extreme childhood attachment to Pikmin 2. Like, I love that game to death on like a personal emotional level, but replaying it now, it was like, oh, so frustrating. But I love that game for how quirky it was with adding these name brand products into the game and giving them these unique, weird names like the Duracell batteries and the jars of peanut butter and stuff. It gave it its own unique personality. And plus, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is including a lot of the things that I loved about Pikmin 2 and is putting it in this game, and I'm just so excited. Like, it seems like with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, they're really trying to make this the best Pikmin game by including features that made Pikmin 2 fantastic, and also by just giving us more Pikmin. Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about what they announced and what is going to come to Pikmin 3 Deluxe. So one of the strongest things about Pikmin 3 I felt was that it really refined the system of gameplay that Pikmin 1 was very much loved for. The kind of micromanaging, multitasking, day-to-day task gameplay. It was relatively absent from Pikmin 2 because that game focused more on dungeon crawling and exploration. And Pikmin 3 kind of perfected the formula. It made it very accessible. It added in 3 captains. You could go around the map and kind of plan out your day, and there were a lot of different ways you could approach the game on multiple different playthroughs. But one of the things I thought was a bit of a hindrance to Pikmin 3 was if you knew what you were doing, the game was very, very easy. Like, I never felt like I was in danger of running out of fruit at any point in Pikmin 3 when I played it. So hearing now that they're offering difficulty options in Pikmin 3 Deluxe is a godsend for me, for a veteran player who really wants to be challenged by this game, because Pikmin 2 to this day still challenges me. Pikmin 1 can kind of challenge me too because of how tight its time restrictions are, but Pikmin 2 is just brutal. That game is brutal, and random things could, whether it's bombs dropping from the ceilings or, you know, the water wraith, Pikmin 2 still can give me PTSD and nightmares, but Pikmin 3 never really got to be challenging like that. So I'm hoping that with these new gameplay balances they're talking about and difficulty modes, they either make certain enemies behave differently or they give us options to really tighten the gameplay and make it more challenging, whether that's like making it so that fruits give you less juice every time you collect them, or by giving you less of a ration supply of them, making the days shorter, making the enemy AI more alert and aware. Just little things could help make Pikmin 3 feel a bit challenging, because I feel like just from the beginning it really did lack a lot of the challenge that the first 2 games kind of really hammered home to people. On top of this, they're obviously going to be adjusting the gameplay controls and I'm curious as to how they're going to handle it, because honestly, it's the only game in the Wii U that really takes advantage of the gamepad, and I feel like the gamepad is crucial to being able to multi-manage your party and plan out your days, because you have constant access to the minimap at all times, and you can always switch between that and controlling your captains on a moment's notice. It made it so that, you know, you could always check down to see, hey, is my captain okay, or are my Pikmin in danger? Is he going the right way? Am I making sure that, you know, that I'm planning these things out properly? And not having the gamepad, I feel like, would really hurt the game's controls and make it harder to manage just controlling and micromanaging your teams. On top of that, too, I really hope that this game utilizes the Joy-Con's IR sensors for motion controlled aiming at the screen, because the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo was crucial to Pikmin 3. That's not to say that I think every Pikmin game is best with it. I actually am one of the few people who still believe that the GameCube controllers are the best way to control Pikmin 1 and 2, but that's because those games were designed with the GameCube controls in mind, and I feel like the Wii Play Control ports kind of break the balance of the game because you can do things that you shouldn't be able to do. But with Pikmin 3, the game was obviously designed around using the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. It's the optimal way to play the game, and not having that motion control capability might really hurt the game, because honestly, I can't stand playing Pikmin 3 with like the gamepad joysticks, and I wouldn't be able to do that with Deluxe on the Joy-Con controllers. I would not be able to control the game with like joysticks or anything like that. Even with an enhanced lock-on system, it would just be too much for me. So they're also giving us the Picklopedia, guys. We're getting the Picklopedia back. Now, this was my favorite aspect of Pikmin 2, easily. Just getting Olimar's insight on his observations of the creatures of the world. He gives them scientific names. He dissects their natural habitats, biology, the way that they interact with nature. Louis giving his cooking advice on the monsters. Even Olimar just naming these treasures and giving us reasons why he named them. Added to his personality, added to the world's personality, made the game feel like a world that was alive, that was lived in, and made the characters feel real. And I would love to see the Picklopedia introduced in a similar way with the three captains in Pikmin 3, Alf, Brittany, and Charlie, and giving their own unique takes on it, because I don't really want them to redo what Olimar did with the scientific names and Louis with his cooking. I want them to introduce their own personalities into the Picklopedia and give their own different insights. You know, it would be really cool. I'm just excited for this game on that alone, because it's one of the things I felt like Pikmin 3 lacked. I felt like it lacked world building, extension of what Pikmin 2 offered. It felt kind of like just I was visiting the planet of the Pikmin again. I wasn't really being immersed in it like I was with Pikmin 2. And this option is just, it has me ecstatic. Now, finally, let's talk about the biggest inclusion here today. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is going to have new side story content with Olimar and Louis. They're going to feature prologue missions and epilogue missions. And these missions are going to kind of catalog the tales of Olimar and Louis and why they returned to the planet of the Pikmin in the events of Pikmin 3. And the epilogue story has me interested, because I don't think we got any epilogue data logs for Olimar and like the hidden data log hunts that were connected to like the Pikmin 3 website. I don't know if you guys remember that. Like, you collected the numbers from the hidden data entries, and you could go to the website and Olimar's video would play where he kind of like has logs of him and Louis doing stupid stuff. I could see maybe the prologues being implemented that way, where they kind of make those moments gameplay moments for Olimar and Louis. That would be pretty cool. But the epilogue, I'm excited to see what they do with that, because maybe it's just going to catalog how Olimar and Louis made it back home. I don't know. I'm just super excited, guys. I'm super excited to just get more Pikmin, new Pikmin content, new content for this game. It has me ecstatic because it's been 7 years since yesterday, actually, that Pikmin 3 was released. 7 years, you guys. I mean, I know we had Hey Pikmin, but I don't count Hey Pikmin. It's been a very long time since we've gotten new Pikmin content. And that kind of seems to be the norm for the Pikmin series. There are very large gaps in between when we get new games and new information. But just by the fact that they're giving us Pikmin 3 Deluxe and it's coming with this brand new content has me excited. And I have a very similar feeling to this that I do with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, where this new content they're offering, I'm hoping is a teaser of what's to come. Like, because I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know if I could handle like them just dropping Pikmin 3 Deluxe, giving us this like little teaser with the epilogue and prologue, and then just being like, okay, we're not going to tell you anything for 5 more years. Like, that would drive me nuts, you guys. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I've been waiting way too long for Pikmin 4 news since Miyamoto like literally came out in 2015 and was like, Pikmin 4 is almost done, you guys, don't worry. Like, it's been 5 years, dude, come on. I know he said a similar thing with Pikmin 3 on the Wii, and then it released like super later and it was delayed even after that. I'm just hoping that a little bit before or after they release Pikmin 3 Deluxe, they give us some information on Pikmin 4. In any case, I will be covering Pikmin 3 Deluxe on my channel. If you guys want to hear more about that, let me know. Thank you for watching me ramble about this. Appreciate you guys. On a side note, for anyone who cares, who's been here long enough, I am working on a video on the Persona series next. It's something I'm super excited about. It's one of my favorite things I've worked on. So yeah, Pikmin. I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, I just kind of realized that I forgot to say hello there, people of the internet, in the intro. It's been a while since I did this. I'm sorry.